Hello everybody. This is problem number 6. We're going to take a look at the corrections for number 6. So first of all, we look at our stepwise refinement and our breakdown of this problem here, our hierarchy chart, where we have this module main here, and then we have these other modules that we broke the problem down into, from show intro to get stats here, to the calculation. This is the process part here, and then of course to show the results here. Okay, so those are our different modules here. So first of all, let's take a look at variable scope. If you notice here, we have BMI here. It's not declared in this scope here. So when you take a look at it, you see that for main, the scope encompasses this area right here, and you don't see main declared here. It's also not declared as a global variable. So let's add in the BMI to that scope. Okay, so we're going to do right here, we're going to go ahead and then we're going to put it in here, real BMI. And now you notice here that this BMI here sees this BMI here. This BMI that you see up here is actually related to the scope for show results here. And then once again, we look at this BMI here, it's not in scope. So if you take a look at it, this function here for calculate BMI, what we need to do here is we need to match up this BMI so it matches some sort of variable declaration. But when you look at the parameter list here, you'll see that we're actually using this variable my BMI. So in this case here, we should be using my BMI here, because what happens here is this is going to be a pass by reference here, and when you look at it, you're going to see that this matches this here, and then when we calculate BMI actually gets passed to here. Okay, so what happens, it goes up to here, passed by reference, and then what happens, it goes to here, and then it gets passed back when it returns, and then it goes back to the caller here. Okay, so that makes a round trip there, and the reason that it does it is because we're using this pass by reference there. So notice it makes that round trip there. If we didn't have that, the return trip wouldn't make that. Okay, so let's go ahead. We made that change there for my BMI, and now it makes that return. Now let's take a look at the next mistake here. If we look at it for get stats, this is for getting the weight and the height. Okay, so once again, let's draw the arrows here, and we're going to see here, in this case, my weight is being passed up here to weight, and then my height is being passed up here to height. So the name my height maps to height, my weight maps to weight. The problem here is twofold. One, we declared a second set of variables, local variables in the function here, weight and height, and those two variables are conflicting here. You cannot declare two variables with the same name in the same scope. So this here, this weight cannot be declared in the same scope as this weight. These two here, no good. Same thing with height here, it's declared here, and we can't do that there. So what do we need to do? We need to get rid of these two things here, and then to clear up that scope. So let's go ahead and get rid of those two local variables, and now we've done that. So now we do not have a conflict here with the weight and height. Well, the second problem here is, if you notice here, the get stats is displaying a message and it's asking for the user input here. Now in order for it to make a round trip here, it's going to, let's see here, I have to actually turn on my screen draw here. Okay, so my weight's going to go here, and then it gets passed to here, but what happens here, when the function hits right here at the end, it does not make the return trip. Now let's see here, let's map that back over here. My height though, it makes the trip there, and then it goes here to height, and then when the function returns, it goes back up here and it goes back to the color. So whatever value you entered in here for height, it will update this value of my height down here. How do we fix this variable for weight right here? What we're going to do is we're going to add in this key right here, reference. Okay, So let's go ahead and delete our other drawings there. We're going to fix it here. So we put in ref right there, and now we're good to go on that there. So now you notice here we have two different areas here that we use reference, and this is for getting input, so it passes it back to the caller here. And you can see that right there, that this will make the round trip in both cases. So if you didn't care about the return value, then that's where you would not need to use reference. So let's take a look at the one that doesn't need the return value, and that's the case here of show results. So this is called pass by copy here. Notice here, and I need to turn on screen draw once again, we see here real BMI right there. I drew a square, and we're going to go to the pin here, and what happens when we call show results, what do? We have a problem here. If you notice here, we're calling this function show results here. We need a argument or that passes to the parameter list, but when we're making the call, we don't have it here. So let's go ahead and fix that. So what do we have? We're actually passing BMI there. So, and we have BMI in main here. So now what happens is we're going to add in the BMI there. And now if you look at it, when you go back to here, you can see that it's going to actually pass this BMI to there, and then that BMI maps to here, and then we see the output on that there. But we don't care about the return result if it was updated to the function, because in this case here we're just displaying output to the user. So that covers our settings there. There's one other minor correction here that we need to make, and that looks like it excuse me, completes the corrections to this.